Hey, it's David, and welcome back to another episode of the Reddit Story podcast.
Oh, it's so good to come home and know that I don't have to go back to work for more than a week. I'm taking a week of annual leave, dear. I would appreciate more attention than that, but maybe I can take a few days off from work myself. We could take a short trip. Jacob, we're not going on a short trip. I'm going on a long trip. What are you talking about? Honey, I'm not only taking a week off from my job, I'm taking a week off from our marriage. Don't worry, you can do whatever you want, with whomever you want, while I'm gone. I won't hold a grudge against you, just like you won't hold a grudge against me for what I do. I beg your pardon? Jacob, when we first got married, I didn't realize how much marriage was like a full-time job. I found that a wife had to be dependable, be able to do her job the way it was expected of her, and most challenging of all, make her boss happy. Our home life began to resemble an organized day at the office. One day I wondered, workplaces provide annual leave so that employees can take some time off from their responsibilities. They are expected to come back rested, ready to get back to work. I wondered why it couldn't be the same for marriage. Let's face it, our marriage has become a bit outdated, boring, and routine lately, especially in bed. I've almost forgotten what pleasure is. I've come to the conclusion that we both need a break from each other to get our juices flowing again. Once you think about it, you'll realize I'm right. Then you'll appreciate what I'm doing. You'll be glad. You'll see. You're out of your mind, Mia. I never agreed to this when we were married, let alone have it dumped on me without warning. I don't know why you think I would agree to your bizarre plan, but I won't let it happen. She grinned. Foolish man. I don't need your permission. Relax, I'm not leaving you. It's just that after being a faithful, hard-working partner in our marriage, I deserve some rest. So do you. I didn't tell you before, so you couldn't stop me. Tickets and hotel fees are non-refundable, and you hate to waste money. Look, I have to go out and buy swimsuits for my trip. We're going to sunny Jamaica. We? Who the hell is we? My boyfriend and me. You have a boyfriend? Who the hell is he? You don't need to know. You could do something stupid like tell his wife, look, find yourself a pretty girl to play with while I'm gone. Just make sure you get rid of her before I get back. I'm not leaving for good. I value our marriage and you. I'm taking a week's vacation for both of us. In a week, we'll both be happy to see each other, and our marriage will be restored. You'll see. I see you're delusional. That's what I see. I forbid you to go. This is my final word on the matter. Jacob, don't make this any harder than it has to be. I was afraid you wouldn't like it, so I've already transferred most of our money to an account in my name only. Your money will last a little more than a week. I was given a credit card in my name only so you couldn't leave me in Jamaica by canceling our joint cards. While I'm shopping, calm down and accept what's about to happen. The sooner you start adjusting to the idea, the more comfortable you'll be with it. Heck, you'll probably want to do it again. Jacob, after I'm done shopping, we'll have a few hours before I leave. I'd like us both to get naked and sleep together on a happy trip for the ages. I don't want you to forget what it will be like when I get back. I love you. She left. Jacob wasn't home when she returned, which didn't surprise her. A week later, "Hi, honey, I'm home. Where is he? I guess I should have checked the garage to see if his car was here." She went and looked in the garage, but his car wasn't there. Looking around the living room and kitchen, she didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Soon she was on her way upstairs. Just as she had feared, most of his stuff was gone. Shit, he's throwing a tantrum. I hope he's registered to file for divorce. Once he finds out how much he'll lose in the divorce, he'll be back on his knees. The sex with my boyfriend was good, but I missed some of the things I could only do with my husband's body. First, I'll make Jacob apologize, and then I'll lovingly forgive him, take him to bed and blow his brains out. After that, everything would go back to normal. As she put her things away and got ready for bed, Mia was sure Jacob would be back soon. The trip had tired her out, and she fell asleep easily. When she woke up the next morning, she stretched in bed. For a moment, she forgot he wasn't there. Oh, well, he would be back soon. She went downstairs and quickly noticed that the coffee she liked to wake up to wasn't ready, as it always had been since she and Jacob had gotten married. Without Jacob's help this morning, she was almost late for work. She was starting to get angry at her uncooperative husband. On the way to work, she tried to call Jacob's cell phone and got a "no longer in service" message. Damn, he sounds like he wants to play around. Well, I can play nasty too. I'll make him pay for his stubbornness. Mia hung up the phone and dialed his office number. "Hello, Mr. Sherman's office. What can I do for you?" "Hi, Sarah. This is Jacob's wife. May I speak to my husband, please?" "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Sherman. He's not here." "Well, can you tell me when he'll be back?" "I'm sorry, but we're not allowed to give out that kind of information." "You've never had a problem telling me before. Since when did silence become a policy?" The secretary's attitude was evident in her answer. "Since Mr. Sherman told me to give you this if you called." "Bastard. Bitch." The secretary hung up. Maybe Jacob has found a woman to sleep with and it takes him a little longer to make me jealous. By not letting him know about my annual vacation, I hoped he couldn't find someone to bond with so quickly. I was probably wrong. He may have decided to go along with this annual leave from marriage, too. Well, good for him. It makes us equal and should help him get over his anger. Mia's consolation didn't last long. She went to use her credit card at the restaurant but was turned down. The ATM would no longer dispense her money. She went to the bank to find out that there was no longer much money in her personal account. Mia was informed that she had a minimum balance in accounts in her name. She inquired as to how this money could have been taken without her authorization. The police were informed that according to bank records, she had given her own written authorization. The clerk obtained her file and showed Mia signed documents giving her husband access to her new accounts, as well as a copy of the driver's license of a woman calling herself Mia Sherman. She was nothing like Mia, who showed her driver's license to prove it. Mia's protests went unheeded. She was advised to contact the police and/or sue if it was fake and fraudulent. That bastard! How could he do this to me? I'm going to kick his ass for this. She went to the police and reported him for theft by fraud, identity theft, and forging her signature. They took her information and asked her where she thought her husband and his accomplice might have gone. Mia gave them some tips on people to contact and places he might live. The police and FBI investigated, but eventually the police recognized that they didn't have any good leads. Mia couldn't afford to hire a lawyer or private investigator to look into it on her own, as her money was quickly running out. With no other options, Mia called every relative and friend of Jacob's she knew, just as the police had done. The answer was the same for everyone she contacted. "I have no idea where he is, and I wouldn't tell you if I did. Hell, I was fucked by my husband in exchange for sleeping together in Jamaica. There's no way I can live in this house and pay all the bills by myself if he doesn't come back soon." She thought about selling the house, but couldn't because the house was in their names. She couldn't file for divorce because she was abandoned because he wasn't gone long enough. Mia was advised that she could go through the normal divorce channels, but in the meantime, she would lose the house. The police declared bankruptcy to make a fresh start. It was on moving day when Mia received the letter. "Mia, apparently you were convinced that I had no choice but to wait until you finished your novel and welcome you back. I think you've forgotten what I did for a living. I was a defense attorney for several counterfeiters. Over the years, I encountered many talented counterfeiters who also had excellent forgery skills. In particular, I remembered one woman who served her time. I remembered in part because she was so gorgeous. I tracked her down and approached her about helping me. At first, she thought I was trying to trap her to prove she was still committing crimes. Once I calmed her down, she told me her story about how difficult it was for an ex-convict to make an honest living. She was destitute and was going to either go back to crime or start prostitution. I was surprised that she agreed to help me if I would fulfill her one condition. I must take her with me when I left and create a new identity. It only took me one night in bed with her to realize how great it would be. She was able to create a driver's license with all your information and her picture. Then she pretended to be you at the bank and forged your signature. It matched so closely that no one questioned it. No one we dealt with at the bank knew you personally, so it didn't matter that she didn't look like you. She looked like she did on her fake ID, and that was all that mattered. Originally, my plan was to respond to your annual one-week vacation with my own one-year sabbatical from our marriage after giving you your money back. But I couldn't understand how you could treat me like that the day you left. My generosity had dried up. Now, after spending some time with my girlfriend, I have decided to forego a sabbatical or divorce. So, in keeping with your analogy of marriage being like a job, "Mia, you're fired!"